G'day everyone, just give me 2 seconds. It seems like the video's not going up. What's going on here? Just bear with me 2 seconds. Now what's going on here? G'day Bryce, g'day Prince family, g'day Liam. We just got a bit of a technical issue here with Streamlabs not putting up the picture. I'll have to just see if we can force that back in. Okay. Just bear with me a second. I'm just going to stop the stream just until I get Streamlabs up and running. I'll be back in 2 secs. Sorry, guys. Okay, now we should be back. Should be coming back up. Just bear with it 2 seconds while it catches up. I think that may well have fixed it. I think on this end it looks like it has. It's waiting for the stream itself to catch up. And there we go. So we're back up and running. My sincere apologies for that. But it seemed like I closed off OBS earlier and then opened up Streamlabs, and OBS still had the game hooked, so it didn't release it. Anyway, welcome to Lone Oak Farm and our realistic Let's Play series. We're going to get straight into it and continue on. We've got a bit of work to do. Thanks, Bryce. Thanks for sticking around. Okay, so let's have a look at the map. We did a couple of extra jobs. We did a couple of missions and got some extra fields that up and running for some of the local farmers. We also bought field 23 and 22. They were relatively cheap after we'd made a bit of money doing some field work. And this is in preparation of coming over here and getting our sheep up and running. So 24 here is a grass field. We don't own that one, and we haven't got enough money really to buy that one at the moment. But these fields here cost us, I think it was about $20,000 thereabouts for the 2 fields. So we're going to head over there. We're going to prepare these 2 fields and sow some grass. Doing field work, aka mowing. G'day, Jaser. There will be some field work very soon. I've got 35 and 44 that are ready to harvest some grass. So don't worry, we'll be getting into some real field work very, very soon. So in the interim, we're going to head on over. Like I said, we're going to take the 2 John Deeres over. I did also buy a small Amazon seeder because I figured the big plains was far too big to do these little fields. So we just bought the little one there. So that only cost us about, I think it was about $6,000. So we're all good. G'day, David. Welcome, mate. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put this guy here on follow me. And we will grab this John Deere and we'll head on over. So Bill is our helper today. He's driving the other tractor for us, as you can see on the mini map, or you may not because it's so small. But we're all good. Now, whether I go left or right, I think what we might do is we might go up the back way and we go up past the Lone Oak. Stay off the main roads. Anyway, so yeah, we're off and running. I'm doing good, thanks, David. And yourself? I didn't end up streaming last night. In fact, I didn't stream at all yesterday. Didn't stream in the morning because we had my son's football, so we had to head on out. Not a long drive away, but far enough that we had to get up a little bit earlier and sort of take off and do all that sort of stuff. So that sort of blew out the morning stream. And then And then the afternoon, I had to go out and do some stuff as well. And then last night we had a bit of a function on with our last representative home game. So we were a bit busy. Didn't get a chance to do much at all. And I came home last night and basically fell asleep on the couch and didn't get anything done. So, but we are here this morning, and quite likely tonight we'll get another live stream into as well. So that'll be Sunday morning for the majority of the US, that sort of stuff. So anyway, that's where we're at the moment. I have got a few videos I'm currently editing as well. Just slowly trying to get back into catching up with those, and we'll get them all scheduled up so we can get back into the Valley of the Old Farm, our Beaver Creek, and our Sosnovka Not Extreme series, as well as getting some mod reviews. And I've got my 2 projects that I mentioned in the last live stream, my top 10 videos coming out as well. But anyway, we have to wait for another map to be released for one of those to be finished, as I did mention, but that shouldn't be too far away. All right. So we had the rain finished overnight. We in the last episode we had a bit of rain, and you're heading off at 1:30 p.m. Yeah, not a problem, mate. Had a bit of rain, and that delayed us doing any work, because we can't do any work other than ploughing in the rain in this series. So, but that's okay. That's well and truly gone now. Now I have also updated the map to the latest version, so I no longer am using the preview version, which had all the names on the mailboxes and all that sort of stuff. So, oh, that's right, of course, David. Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah, to do the bale delivery for the farmers in need and stuff. So, no, yeah, that'll be good. Good luck with that. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Yeah, so the weather's cleared again now, so we've got a sunny day, so we can get as much done as we possibly can. So we'll get into it and see what we can get done. All right. And Bill's still behind us, which is good. In fact, it's quite funny that he's named Bill. It's a shame it's not Bullet Bill, isn't it? We'll be back on Monday. Okay, so it's not too far a trip then. Alright, now we've got to take this next turn in. So this is the field 24 that's off to our immediate left now. That's the one that we will try and own that at some point in the near future. That's I think that was about $35,000 or something like that. So it's sure not within our realm of affordability at the moment. But here's field 22. That's one we've just bought, and then the other little one around here. So this is the now we haven't really been in here. Even in my preview maps, I don't think I actually came into the sheep area. Yeah, it's a nice little area. This one is sort of tucked in out of the way. A nice little farmhouse in here and a barn, and then we have the sheep area. So the only problem is I don't have enough room in here really to put in a bale storage shed. So I don't know what we're going to do. We might have to use the equipment on there. Oh, pardon me, to put that in place. But anyway, all right. So Bill's brought the tractor over here nicely. So this is the plough. Now we are going to have to go through this little grass field here, and then over here to get to these 2 fields. So we're just going to open the gates up. So you can see this field here, field 22, is not really big. And field 23 here is actually quite small, so we would have actually just basically done one run with the Big Plains seeder. So that's why we ended up getting this smaller one. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to get in and plough both these fields. All right. And off we go. So for those of you that aren't aware, just going to New South Wales next time. Oh yeah, is it a Queensland trip today? Is it? Are you going to? David actually he's got a couple of trucks, and he's helping out our farmers in need by doing some bale transporting this weekend. There's a big drive at the moment in Australia because our Queensland and New South Wales farmers are finding it very, very difficult because of the ongoing drought that we've had for many, many years now. It's really starting to sort of kick in and take its toll even more so. And there's a big drive at the moment to help these farmers out. Now, I did intimate, and I've said to David previously as well, we here at Duxbury Gaming are going to do some sort of fundraising to help our farmers as well. I haven't decided exactly how or when, but I'm certainly going to do something that can hopefully give them a bit of a hand and see if I can convince some other YouTubers and that to give us a hand with doing it, because we definitely need to give them a hand. It's a very high, unfortunately, it's a very high suicide rate at the moment in Australia with farmers, because they're just that point. But the unfortunate part is now we're at the point where not only are farmers basically getting rid of their stock, like as in whether it be their cattle or sheep, whatever else, they're now getting that desperate. They're starting to liquidate their breeding stock, and once we start getting to that point, then it's sort of at the point of no return for many of them. So, but anyway, we'll see how that what we end up doing. So, no, it was a late start today, Si. I didn't start. Normally I start about 7 o'clock my time, and today I started at 8. I wasn't really rushing into starting early, so it also gives some of those others a bit more of a chance to get in. So, yeah. So we'll see what we do, but I'm sure we'll end up doing something here on the channel and try and raise some money or do something to help some of these farmers, because they're in a terrible state at the moment, and they need all the help we can get, because I mean, after all, they're the ones that actually provide us with all our lovely quality produce and all that sort of stuff. So we need to give them as much of a hand as possible. There's a bit of backlash here at the moment about the fact that so for instance, Australia, the Australian government gives millions upon millions of dollars to other countries in aid, but they can't assist our farmers, and in particular things like selling off all the power. We've got the best resources for power, and I'm not going to we're not going to get talking about political stuff here, but we have the greatest amount of resources for generation of cheap electricity and all that sort of stuff, and yet we're making it so hard for ourselves by selling all the coal off cheap to China and Japan and all that, but we're doing these stupid environmental protocols out of Paris and unrealistic targets where we're going to, the Australian government and all that, think that we're going to change the world and get rid of all these bad things, and we're in effect going to only have an effect on like 0.02%. So it's really pointless. But unfortunately now we've got not only farmers in dire straits, but we've got families and that are in dire straits. We've got pensioners that basically are eating food out of a can because they haven't got enough money to turn on their stove and heat up their meals, or they're freezing during winter because they haven't got enough money to turn on their heaters and stuff like that. And certainly for Australia, that's not on. It's rubbish. But that's what happens when you have governments that do a bit of a sellout, basically. And I'm not talking about either party. I mean, both parties here in Australia at the moment, both the majority parties are basically incompetent. And all they're looking after is themselves, not their constituents and the country itself. So, but anyway, that's about as far as I go with that. But yeah, certainly as a channel, we'll try and sort of see if in the next few weeks we can do something to help out the farmers. Just a token effort, I know it'll end up being, but hey, it's better than nothing. David says, well said, Duck. As I said to someone with farmers, Australia stops. Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, farmers are the lifeblood of this country, basically. Always have been, always will be. I mean, okay, the mining boom and all that sort of stuff certainly helps, but yeah, we got to look after our farmers. We really do. Si says the states are heading to that situation. Yeah, I mean, look, and again, like I said, I'm not going to go on it too long. One of the good things you've got, I mean, your government, particularly probably Trump, has basically thumbed his nose at the Paris protocols and all that sort of stuff. That all this supposed global warming and all this extra stuff that's going on. I mean, unfortunately, the science isn't really being listened to, the correct science, and as always, they just take little bits and pieces of it. But anyway, I'm not going to get into it because it's going to get me cranky. I'll get my blood pressure up and I'll flip my lid, and no, it won't do anyone any good. But anyway. So nonetheless, David, thanks for doing what you're doing for our farmers, mate, and certainly this afternoon when you head off on your trip, I hope you have a safe trip. Drive careful and help those farmers out. I'm surely they'll be greatly appreciative of you lending a hand. And of course, if you are interested, there is, if you're an Aussie, most of the major news channels and that, I know Channel 9 are doing they've finally come on board in doing a fundraising drive at the moment for the farmers. If you've got a couple of bucks, feel free to go and help out. Also, there is, I did notice on one of the radio stations, there are people now volunteering to help, and that's like just in the coordination of delivery of bales and all that sort of stuff. So it is starting to have an effect. The community and the public are starting to mobilise, which is great. So I mean, obviously we can't just flip the switch and get the drought to be over with getting enough rain and all that sort of stuff. But hey, I mean, it's all part and parcel of it. But if we can help out them farmers, then so be it. Canadian Rob, g'day my friend. How are you? Long time no see. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Have you got Timmy's with you? All right. So we've almost finished ploughing up these two little fields here. Probably one and a bit runs now to go. Yeah, not quite wide enough to cover it all, just little bits and pieces to tidy up. But anyway, that's all good. All right. I'll turn around, do the last bit of tidy up, and then we'll quickly seed the fields. No, but I had one earlier. Mate, not a day or a minute goes by where I'm thinking you're not having a Timmy's. But anyway, it's all good. It's all good. How's the wife and bub and the other kiddies? I'm assuming Mrs. Canadian Rob is doing really well. All right, so we finished that. So for those of you who aren't aware, Canadian Rob is another streamer. He's quite funny actually at times, and is someone that I started following and was watching with great interest. He moved a lot onto PUBG, but I think you've been back in doing a bit of Farming Simulator a bit lately, haven't you, Rob? Come back to the right side. All right, so we finished ploughing. We'll get this. Now I'm not so sure how much we're going to have in relation of seed and be able to finish these fields, but we'll see how we go. It's a long drive back to find the seed bags. What we'll do is we'll just make sure we've got grass. Torturing yourself with a bale challenge again. Oh, I thought you gave up on that the last time. All right. It's only a very narrow seeder. Certainly we're fine for this field. The other field I might get a little bit bored with it. Having a nice coffee and watching the stream. No worries, David. Awesome. I've got an iced coffee here, actually. I haven't got a hot coffee. I've got an iced coffee, and I'm sipping away on that occasionally. You're doing 50,000 bales. Really? $50,000 bales? Really? I mean, Christ, I did the 6,000 and that was enough. Because I think you did about 3,500. Then I did 6,000, and that was just painful. Bloody hell! How are you going to get 50,000 bales? What map are you doing it on? I'll have to go and have a look. Are you just baling? Like, are you actually just baling the bales, or are you baling them and transporting them, like as in a bale train again? I mean, if it's just the production of bales, that's not so bad. Undisputed. Oh, there goes the challenge. he's put the words out there. A train, eh? All right, I have to have a look. Might have to have a look. Can't have you laying claim to being the bale king. What's going on? I'm not happy with that part of the field at all. On Walker Farms. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, all I'll say to that is each to their own. I can't say I'll be doing anything on Walker Farms, but yeah. All right. I'll have to have a look. Yeah, I mean, look, Walker Farms is a big map. I mean, I could blow that out of the water. I could do a bale challenge on Broad Acres. In fact, actually, what I might do is when I get the new PC, that will be the time I'll be able to really torture Broad Acres. I might return back to it, and I might do 100,000 bales just to show that the Aussies can outdo the Canadians. I mean, we can't have this, can we, boys? Yeah. All right. Oh, Bryce says, let's do it, Duck. Broad Acres, pigs and bales. Oh, I'm not doing pigs. You ain't get me doing pigs. I might do sheep, but I won't do pigs. Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. So I might think about that. Sheep are too easy. Look, yeah, they are easy. I mean, look, I do the sheep because probably number one, that yes, they are easy. I don't like doing things that are really hard. But the other thing is too, it's a real Australian sort of thing. I mean, the cattle and the sheep, yeah, but the pigs aren't. Well, you don't hear so much in the way of piggeries or all that sort of stuff in Australia. So yeah, that's why I tend to do that more. Oh, look, no doubt, Rob. I mean, that's madness. I mean, I thought 6,000 bales was stupid, but yeah, well, I'm not surprised. But 50,000, it'll be interesting. Hats off to you if you get there. But yeah, I might have to consider doing it. But yeah, I don't think I will in reality. I don't think I could do that many. Jason says, what am I doing? I'm using a stock tractor mounted mower, but when I drag the stock tedder over it, only about 2/3 ever gets turned over into hay. What are you doing wrong? I don't know. What are you doing wrong? That doesn't sound right. I mean, that's not normally how it would work. I couldn't say off the top of my head, Jason, as to what would be going on. This seeder really doesn't like working on this field. Lots of patches being left behind. Oh, that's not... You can't be doing that, Rob. The 600 bale trailer. Man. I mean, why don't you just change it and make it a 6,000 bale trailer? Anyway. Alright, well, I'll have to come over and have a look and see what's going on. This is driving me nuts. I wonder if it's actually the field definition or the seeder itself or what's causing this. I know generally when you have this, if you go some different angles, it generally will pick it up, but it's very annoying. Yeah, no, I understand that, Darren. That's what I was sort of figuring, but anyway, we'll just have to put up with it. Maybe I should have used the big plains one after all. David, don't start getting stuck into my driving again, please. That's not very nice. I got feelings too, you know. Somewhere. After the last episode where you're all pulling the mickey out of me. I mean, you'll notice I made sure I got the wheel out today. So you weren't able to pull the mickey out of me too much. But anyway. So I've had a bit of a look at I had a look at Virtual Farmer's Farming Simulator 19 video yesterday. Thanks, Bryce. I'm just going to treat that with the disdain that it deserves. Yeah. So I mean, from what I've seen from VF, I mean, Farming Simulator 19 looks like it's going to be very interesting on many different levels. So yeah, I mean, obviously there's the disappointment of John Deere being in the game and Class not being in the game, but that's a personal preference. But yeah, it's looking very promising. I'm sort of quite excited to see what else we sort of find out about it from here until launch. But yeah, I can't say I'm super excited for the overloader they've released. No, sorry, David. I look, nothing against him, but I just tend to not watch Daggerwin at all. It doesn't. Yeah, I used to. I'll admit, before I started doing YouTube and all that sort of stuff, I used to watch him a little bit. But I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. So no, I don't tend to watch Daggerwin's videos. Sorry. I have got some other reasons for that, but I'm just not going to go publicly out there with them. But yeah, no, I've checked out Virtual Farmers, and I'm going to be looking at Simulates today. Both of those guys were at FarmCon at Giant's invitation, and they got some very good and accurate information, and pretty much most of the others have either got it from those two guys or they're getting it sort of second hand. There are some that went to FarmCon, obviously, but I mean, obviously, those boys were able to actually directly liaise with Giants on many different levels. So yeah, so it's very good. All right, well, I'm going to give up on this this field. I'm going to fix this up a little bit later. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give up on this seeder. I'm going to go and get the big plain seeder. So we'll turn him off. So I'm just going to race around and grab the big plains and come back. In fact, no, what I'll do, I'll head right over there and take it over. We'll grab the big bud and we'll bring the big plain seeder over and do that. I know I missed a lot, David. I'll fix it up a little bit later. I'm not going to sit here for an hour just tidying up that little bit of a field. I don't really see the point in that. So, yeah, and I'm sure none of you want to sit there watching all that either. All right. We'll go back around this way again. Still loving the map. This map is still fantastic. I'm really looking forward though to Shamrock Valley. That's the next map coming out from Oxygen David, and yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to that map. Now, I can tell you, and if you haven't already seen Landy Kids and Rainbow Dave's preview, it is a lot smaller than what Oxygen David has done previously, so it is a relatively small map. So, but it does look fantastic. It really, really does. So, looking forward to getting stuck in that. David says you'll send. Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing them. Rob says, "Am I the only one not excited by?" No, Rob, you are not the only one. I'm not. The JD part does not worry me whatsoever. I mean, I probably won't even use half the JD stuff that they're going to put in with it. I've not been a fan of JD. I've made that quite publicly known. The only reason why I'm using JD on this map is it basically fits, and I've sort of started trying to change things up for each map on each series and that, and using a bit of different equipment. Otherwise, it gets a bit boring if I'm using the same equipment all the time. So everyone expects me to use the Xerion 5000, the Big M, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, look, we have. I mean, look, I do understand a bit of the hype, particularly from the console players, and I think that's where the majority of it's coming from, because they've not had the JD, because they've not been able to release the mods onto the consoles for licensing reasons. Just give me 2 secs. Sorry about that. Yeah, so it's the console guys that have missed out. Yeah, Cotton's the same. We've had Cotton, and I mean I've used, as those of you that have seen my series, I've used Cotton on Beaver Creek. So we've been doing some Australian cotton farming on the Beaver Creek series, and obviously we're using the JD cotton harvester for that. But yeah, I mean the JD part is not the reason why I'd be buying Farming Simulator 19 at all. So yeah, so there you go. That's right, David. And I understand that. I mean, I've looked at a lot of the John Deere models, and apart from the couple I'm using on this map, a lot of them haven't looked that great, and they've always had different colour shadings and stuff like that. But which is something I'll get onto about Farming Simulator 19 in a second. But yeah, no, the John Deere certainly doesn't excite me, and I must admit the lack of having class is a bummer to me. But I know that our great modding community will very quickly get out some class models for us, so that'll be great. Duck, you could have used the Ford pack. That would be fitting for the States. Yeah, I realise that. I don't mind the idea of the Ford pack. It's just they weren't. I wanted something that was a little bit bigger, because I knew this in the way of farms and that, or the fields and that here were going to be a little bit bigger. So I didn't want anything underpowered. So yeah, that's probably the main reason as to why I went with the equipment I have. But needless to say, there's not to say that I'm not going to get any Fords later on. I may buy a Ford or two. I mean, who knows? Alright, so we're just going to dump this seeder in here, and it'll probably stay there. I probably won't even use it again. Righto. So we'll take the John Deere back in, park it in the garage, and we'll grab the big bud and take the big seeder over and fix that field up properly. Alright, that'll do. Don't need to park and put him away properly. So we'll grab the big bud. Oh, by the way, before we do that, we should all pay homage. So all pay homage to the Big M. We're not worthy. Okay. Let's go. Yeah, no, they're not very powerful, but I mean that's the idea of the pack. It's for a starting out farm with smaller machinery. Something like that would be probably good on something like the size of where am I going? My seeder's over here. Something like Dusty Dave's Pemblem Farm Deluxe, or possibly even on Shamrock Valley Farm, something like that. But yeah, on the bigger ones, certainly just a small utility tractor, like for doing, for instance, doing the fertilizer and seed bags and stuff. That'd be okay. But yeah, anyway. All right, so let's go. Let's get the beast over there and get those fields sorted out. Darren says BSM hits near the top with their new map, been adding toys to it. Yeah, look, I don't mind the Creamery map. It's okay. There's a lot of varying opinions over it. I don't think, personally, I don't think that is up to its previous standards. So I don't think it's the same standard as the Valley of the Old Farm. There are a lot of minor to medium issues with the map that have been reported, including like some people saving the game, coming back in, and they've lost all their equipment. There's stuff like that going on. I mean, the map itself generally on the outset looks nice, but yeah, I do have some concerns with it. I don't like it as much as the Valley of the Old Farm. Needless to say, it's a nice map. The layout of it's quite good. But yeah, I can't say it's going to rate in one of my top most favoured maps going forward. But I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, there's a lot of discussions really that you can have in relation to some stuff that's going on with certain modders and modding groups and stuff, and I'm not going to get into that, certainly not publicly. I have my own opinions of it, and my own opinions generally will stay with me. But in relation to whether I like a particular map or not, I'm happy to share that. I mean, that's no problems. G'day, Perrin. How are you, buddy? Welcome to the stream. But I don't think in the same breath it's worthwhile sort of speaking ill of any modders or modder groups or whatever else. I mean, everyone certainly has their personal opinion. I mean, obviously, if something comes out and it's rubbish, I may well talk about it, but I won't talk about it to the detriment of saying the modders wasted. I mean, you know what I mean. I'm not going to sit here and diss people, because I mean, ultimately they've all put in hard work and all that sort of stuff. So whether the map or the mod is fantastic or mediocre or not, or whatever, if people get it, they like it, and they enjoy it and use it, well, so be it. But I mean, ultimately, someone has put a lot of hard work into that, and I think it's beholden to all of us to not just necessarily go out there and say, hey, look, you're a douchebag, this is really crap, what do you bother doing that for? We just sort of say, yeah, no, look, you gave the effort, well done, thanks for giving the effort and sort of sharing it with us all, all that sort of stuff. So but anyway, that's all part and parcel of it. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and diss any group or any map or anything particularly, but I will say that, yeah, Walker Farms and the Creamery, unfortunately, are two maps that have come out recently that while I've had a look at them, they're just not to what I would continue playing on. Not unless they fix a few other things with it. Oh, look, indeed. I mean, there's no guaranteed perfect map or mod that comes out. I mean, if there was, they'd be working for a company and they'd be having lots of money and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to see if I'm not going to beat him out. Come on. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I mean, there's lots of things that you have to overcome, and there's unforeseen things. I mean, a lot of these maps and that as well are only as good as their testers. And I mean, some people aren't testing for the right reasons. I mean, I know that I do formal destructive testing and stuff with military equipment, and that's as part of my job. And I've also done a lot of software testing and that as alpha testers and beta testers for various software companies and software at periods of time, and not just gaming either. And it depends on the person that's doing it. And if you're not looking at it a very logical and well thought out process, you're not gonna catch everything. You're not going to see everything. And unfortunately, a lot of testers that do test the maps and games and stuff like that, they don't have that mind of what to check for. They'll go on. I mean, you may get some that'll get a map and go, oh, I'm going to be a tester, and they go out and they play the map and all that sort of stuff. But are they really logically going through and testing all the different elements and sort of making sure they've covered it all? I mean, that's where some of these maps come undone, because their testers have not gone and tested something that, while some people might think is obscure, it might not be to others. So I mean, there's all that sort of stuff. But anyway, that's all part and parcel of it. But no, I mean, certainly I would argue for anyone to say that any mod or map has come out for the farming simulator genre, particularly 17, that has been perfect by any means. But yeah. No, and that's right, Darren. I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, like, there's a lot of maps that have come out that have been good, that don't necessarily fit your own personality. I mean, like, Steve, I mean, for instance, I like Stevie's maps. I've made no bone about that. I've liked Pine Cove in all of its iterations, including its latest version. Sherwood Park Farm, Snetterton Farm, liked all of them. But they had their own issues, admittedly. A lot of people don't like them. So, for instance, I know Farmer Klein, he's not a big fan of Stevie's maps. And it's just the individual person and what they prefer in playstyle and all that sort of stuff. And it's the same for any other map. I mean, there are people that won't like Lone Oak Farm. There are people that didn't like West Coast. There are people that don't like and won't like Walker Farms or the Creamery, all that sort of stuff. And that's going to happen. But I think it's important that if you don't like a game, as we're getting close to night here, so we're going to be in trouble because we can't work through the night. Then you shouldn't be sitting there dissing their work either at the same time. I mean, you need to be careful what you're doing. Mate, I agree with you 100%, Rob. I'm a huge Bullet Bill fan, and again, I go on the record to say I'm not just saying that because, number one, I was very lucky and privileged to be asked to do previewing of Lone Oak Farm, and I'm now officially a media partner of Frontier Designs. It still would not necessarily stop me from saying, look, this is wrong, or this is not good enough, or whatever else. But the level of detail that goes into Bullet Bill's maps, and indeed Oxygen David's maps, are fantastic. And the work that Frontier Designs do, I mean, you look at the buildings now on this farm and compare them to the real life version, it is just tremendous. It really is. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Bullet Bill myself. And I mean, obviously I must be. I mean, I wouldn't have gone to the extent of trying to assist him in getting his PC fixed and getting everyone else to help fundraise and all that sort of stuff, and do all that sort of stuff, unless I thought that he was well deserving of it, for instance. But yeah, no, Bullet Bill and Frontier do a great job. But as Darren said, doesn't mean to say that their products are perfect or anything in the means. So, but anyway. All right, so we better make sure we put grass on here and not. I'm a dill. All right. So I guess we're not going to be putting any grass down in this field with this seeder. All right, let me have a look. I should have checked that before I did it, shouldn't I? Sowing machines. I'm going to need to get something else that does grass. 9 meters. 9 meters. All right, I'm going to have to do it. So I'm going to buy the John Deere 1760. What do I need for that, actually? I only need a small tractor, so I can use the John Deeres for that. We're going to buy that because, like I said, I'm a deal and didn't check to see what I could do with this. So we'll take the big bud and the big plane seeder back out of the field. We will transition to the next day, because we can't do any field work at night anyway as part of our realistic series. And we'll get the seeder filled up with seed, and then we'll come back and fill it up. Alright, so we'll jump out of here. Actually, we'll turn the engine off first, that'll be a start. He's off, which is good. All right, so let's do our transition. So we'll go to morning. Darren says, Canadian Rob says, yeah, I was in his group last year, but when I stopped streaming FS for a while, they kicked me out. Did they? Oh dear. Rob also says, it's interesting, I prefer the UK-based maps and not ones from anywhere near here. Yeah, well, some are like that. Parent says, I'm fine, just a little cool here. I understand that, mate. It's quite cool over here, I can assure you. Bryce says, don't forget to change the seed to grass. Yeah, I didn't forget, but unfortunately I couldn't do it at all. So, anyway. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the plough. But what we'll do is... Oh, I've really messed this up, actually. What we'll do is we'll take this back to the farm, then go... yeah, I'll take this back to the farm, and then we'll go get the seeder, then we'll have to refill the seeder, and then we'll have to seed. That's not bad. It's going to be like a 2-hour stream just to fill up 2 small fields with grass. Thanks to my incompetence. All right. Come on, 6 o'clock in the morning. There shouldn't be much traffic around, guys. All right. So David says, I was just talking to my mate. He's going to do a road train load of bales for the farms, and me and him are going to help them. So I might be back on Monday. Nice, nice, mate. Perrin, you can't complain about it being cold if you live up in Brizzy. I mean, really, it doesn't get cold in Brizzy. I know it does, but not by comparison. All right, so Bryce says it's not incompetence, it's job security. Well, I don't know if it's job security. If I had someone that just stuffed up as monumentally as what I just did, I'd probably be thinking about sacking them. I suppose the one advantage is at least now our grass fields will most likely be at the next growth stage. Let's have a look. Oh no, not quite. So if you're not aware, that this mod I'm using with the mini-map is the enhanced mini-map, I think it's called. It's a great mod. Can't sack the boss. Well, yeah, you can. It can happen. Yeah, it's a great mod, and it's available in the mod hub, and basically enables you to have an enhanced mini-map. As you can see, you can cycle through the same as what you would with the normal normal map from the HUD, and you can see what's going on in real terms from the mini map instead of having to go back to the main menu. So yeah, so it's great. And Rob says that's what my job is based on: people's incompetence in driving. I pick up their broken cars. Yeah, I actually saw a couple of pictures on your Discord the other day. So yeah, no, I can understand that entirely. All right, so almost there. So this John Deere seeder we're about to use, I've never actually used before. Can you turn it off with 9 yet? No, you can't get rid of. No, you can't. You can't get rid of the minimap. And that's the only problem with it. I did the other day go to do some screenshots with the HUD gone, and if I remove the HUD, for instance, it stays much the same as glance, unfortunately. So that's the unfortunate part of it. But anyway, we'll just put up with it. It's okay. All right, so here we are back at the farm. We'll just chuck the plough down over here. We won't worry about putting it away properly because we may well need it again if I stuff up. All right, and now we'll just drive on through to the store, pick up the seeder and bring it back. The combos, basically the only thing you really need to worry about is the square brackets. They change the mode of the mini-map. Well, from what I understand, that's the only things that really help interact. So even as it's in the smallest. As you can see there, I'm just using the left and right square bracket to change the functionality of the mini map. But it is great. I mean, obviously it tells you very closely. What was that? Delta Bravo Productions. My goodness, thank you very much, my friend. DB is in the house and donated $5. I sincerely appreciate that, mate. Rob, can you do me a favour? Can you approve that message from David? There's nothing wrong with that. He's just David just put up a message about if anyone can help out with the farmers in Australia with the bale drive by donating, by buying a bale, then please do so, and I support that entirely. And in fact, I'll probably put a link in the comments of this video, and I'll probably have that as a Nightbot command going forward, just to sort of, if anyone wishes to do that, because it's a very important thing going forward. We'll beat that car around there. All right. No, thanks, DB. Greatly appreciated, my friend. Long time no speak. I do lurk in your channel quite regularly, though. Long time no quack. Indeed, indeed. I've been meaning to come over and join up with you in. Is it ATS? You're doing your multiplayer on? Or was it? Yeah, it was ATS, wasn't it? Not ETS. We mean to come on over, so I might speak with you this week about that. I'd like to get back and doing some trucking once I sort of get back on my feet with all the farming stuff. Yeah, I did note someone was saying the other day that you were off with real life issues, but been a bit busy. I understand that. We all have to do that every now and again. All right, here we are. We're at the dealership. Sounds good. I'm on vacation this week. Oh, you're on vacation, are you? Okay. All right. So here we go. So this is the first thing. So we've got this seater here. Now the first thing I will say is obviously the colours and all that of the mod. While the guys obviously done a good job in trying to produce a mod, the colours aren't right. Now this is what I was alluding to earlier, actually, that I was going to talk about going forward as well. Now, one of the things with Farming Simulator 19 is inherently in the code or within the game. Now, I think this is basically in relation to, and I could be wrong with how I interpreted this, but basically inside the game, there are going to be preset color codes that are used by, or can be used by mods, modders, all that sort of stuff, in relation to the colors that are selected for a mod. So, for instance, it is too. Sorry, I just noticed that I didn't bring the steering wheel down, and Farmer Climb will have a conniption if he sees that. Anyway, yeah. So there's preset color schemes going to be inside the code of the game, effectively. So for anyone that's creating a John Deere mod, they will select the John Deere color code. Now, obviously, they will have the correct and accurate RGB or CMYK color codes applied to them. So that means that every mod effectively comes in as a JD. Well, not necessarily every mod, but there is no excuse for every mod to have the perfect colorization of the brand. Similarly, the same would sort of apply to any other brand that's in the game. So, for instance, let's pick a brand that we know, Case, okay, or Massey Ferguson. The tone of red they use would be correct. So one of the things that has annoyed me with the John Deere, there was a mega packet John Deere that I was looking at using. And see you, David. Take care, mate. Take care in driving and look after those farmers for us, mate. It's a fantastic job you're doing. I look forward to seeing the pics later on. But yeah, take care, mate. Safe driving. Yeah. So the thing with that John Deere pack was, some of the tractors in there were a totally different green, and as you can tell with this seeder here, I mean, you can tell the difference in the green and the yellow is just very stark. I mean, the texture, there's not really much in the way of texturing that on the seeder, but I just thought we'd found this seed and I thought we'd give it a go. It may not last anything further than today's game, but we've at least given it a look. So can't do any more than that. Give it a chance. All right. So we're back here at the farm. So now we just need to fill this thing up with seed, which will be another interesting experiment, as those that have seen my my seeding ability. All right, now, is there anything there that says unfold sower? Okay, so there's nothing there that sort of indicates that there's a point for me to drop the seed into. So let's see how this goes. It does sound good, doesn't it? Doesn't it, DB? I mean, that's a lovely thing. I mean, that's some of the things that, I mean, it's only very small. I mean, look, you can say you're nitpicking, but it's an annoyance. Like when you get, say, for instance, a oh, geez, how to do that? That was first time through. You get, say, for instance, a nice Massey Ferguson tractor or a Puma or something. Then you go and obviously just anywhere is good enough for seeding it. Yeah, you go and get two different mods of it, and they look totally different with the colour scheme. It sort of ruins the representation of it a little bit, because sure as hell, when they're manufacturing, they'll make sure that the colours are perfect. So yeah, I mean it's a small detail, I know, but I think it's a great bit of attention to detail. So kudos to Giants for doing so. Now, the only thing they need to do now is make it foolproof with things like this, that ducks all can do things without stuffing it up. That might be a bit hard for them to do. All right. Now, I'm not even sure what the capacity of the seeder is, so we'll find out, I suppose. That's 4,000 litres of seed it's taken. Now these bags here, these are the lizard seeder bags. I don't mind these ones. The only problem I have with them is once they fall over, you've got no real way of righting them. I do think the Jolly Dodger big bags are better, and I may well just sub these ones in and replace them. Setting the bar high, making it duck proof. Mate, I don't think any software company in the world would be able to make anything duck proof. Yeah, so I don't think that's a realistic expectation. All right, let's just have a look and see. Oh, it's got a fairly high capacity by the look of it. All right. Now, I tried this yesterday and it didn't work very well. Try and pick up 2 bags. It worked that time. Alright. No, it didn't. There we go. Always tend to lose 1 bag. Have to run on hope, mate. Yeah, I don't think there's any chance of fixing that. I mean, look, I'm not going to ever get the prize for most accurate driving ability on YouTube or anything else similar to that. I mean, let's face it. I can turn anything that looks okay into a dog's breakfast with ease. That's about the skill set of mine. I think that'll do. We'll just load up with this bag and then we'll head on over and get going, because I don't want to. Yeah, shouldn't be taking 2 hours to get those 2 fields seeded with grass. That's for sure. All right, so we'll leave him there for now, and we'll head straight back on over. All right. let's just hope that this thing actually works okay. Now, it did say it had grass. Let's better check that too, I suppose, before we get over there. Righto. So obviously it's got about a 12,000 litre capacity for seed, which is quite big. So yeah, we'll see how it runs. I mean, aesthetically it might not look perfect, but as long as it functions okay, that's probably the most important part at this point in time. All right, so I'll do one bit of selfish promotion. I certainly don't do this very often because I don't necessarily agree with doing it and making it in people's face and making people feel that I might be obligated or whatever else. But I can let people know that we do have a Patreon set up, as well as our Streamlabs donation, which is what our great friend Delta Bravo donated $5 to earlier. But in relation to the Patreon, I've just set up two different levels. There's a basic level of $1 or more, but I've set up a new level of $5. And what I'm going to do to as a thank you to my Patreons that do support me month by month at the $5 level or higher, I am going to be doing at least one, maybe two series that are exclusive to Patreons to watch. They won't be released on the general YouTube channel. So just basically as a thank you for supporting me and the channel, that's what we're doing going forward. So if you are interested and you want to consider it, then that's fine. If not, that's okay. There's certainly no obligation. I don't think any more or less of those that don't support, and I do think more highly of those that are supporting, obviously for obvious reasons, but it doesn't mean that I ignore anyone else or treat them any real difference over anyone else. So that's a consideration for you. The details will come up. Mr. Nightbot will put something up there at some point during our streams. But yeah, so there you go. Yeah. Anyway, we've got. I do have to get back into our Go Big or Go Home series. That is, I did a bit of solo play on that. I copied the game files over, the save game files, and did a bit of work on that. And I fast forwarded through to the point of having all our fields ready to harvest, just to sort of see how we're going to go time-wise with having to harvest all the fields on the Lone Oak map in a short period of time. And I can assure you, we're going to be in for a bit of a treat when it actually comes to that, because we are going to be struggling to deal with all those fields concurrently. So what I am going to do with that is when it comes time for harvest, we are going to basically open it up as a dedicated server, and I'm going to ask for people to come in and give us a hand. So we're going to have some hired help come in and help us do the harvest on our Go Big or Go Home series, which is probably close to real life. I mean, if you had that sort of size stuff to deal with. So we'll end up arranging something like that. That will be in the not too distant future. So if you're interested in doing that, then let me know, because I am going to run a test on the server, so whether I need to put it on the actual dedicated server we have, or whether I can just host it and get a good enough performance out of it. But yeah, if you're interested in doing that, I'm going to need people to drive harvesters, and I'm also going to need people to drive tractors and overloaders, and also tippers. So we're going to need a few people, and hopefully I can get a few to give us a hand. So no, Johnny V is not invited. That's it. I mean, everyone should know Johnny V is not invited to do any planting, or he's not even invited into the stream when we're doing planting. So I mean, if he pops in now, I'll ban him, because all he ends up doing is causing me to plant sugar beet in every field, and that's just not good enough. I'm not having that. We're only sort of just getting back on our feet on Sussex Farm because of that. All right, so let's see how this goes. Seems to be okay. All right, we might just. All right, I can't get them to it. That's okay. All right. Not bad. So certainly seems to work okay. Aesthetically and looks, it may not be perfect, but it seems to function okay. Let's have a look and see. Yeah, that looks good. All right, we're all good. Certainly a bit quicker than using that smaller one, that's for sure. All right. Yeah, so no, Johnny V is certainly not invited when it comes to planting. So for those of you that aren't aware, basically, first couple of live streams we did, we were on Sussex Farm, which we will get back to, and in fact we might do Sussex Farm tonight or tomorrow morning. I won't be tomorrow morning, it'll be tonight. And yeah, while we were seeding and all that sort of stuff, and there was much fun and frivolity going on for the first couple of live streams, he was distracting enough that ended up we planted 5 fields with sugar beets, and that was a pain. But yeah, so it's a bit of an in joke now that anytime Johnny V turns up, we end up doing sugar beets. So yeah. Anyway, all right. Yeah, this isn't bad actually. I mean, like I said, colorization is probably not perfect. I mean, but then again, there's a couple of other John Deeres I have that are very similar in the colours that what this has got. So a very bright version of the green and the yellow. So I'd probably match that. But yeah, I guess the other thing is too, I'm not necessarily 100% au fait as to what colours are actually more accurate. Is it actually the brighter that's more accurate? I always thought it was the duller version of it. I have got some photos when we were at visiting my parents last year. I went past a dealership. It was a John Deere and Class dealership. I took some photos, so I could always go and have a look at that, I suppose. But or do a search on the interwebs. But yeah, not being a huge fan of John Deere, I've never sort of really taken too much notice, to be honest. All right. We might just for ease of use, use our GPS, and we'll just line ourselves up and get all this done nice and quickly. I guess this is the only thing coming into Farming Simulator 19 that we're going to have to wait for. It's the likes of our GPS mod, our seasons mod, course play, all that sort of stuff. That's going to be an interesting part initially. All of us, I suppose, are going to have to be basically playing the vanilla version of 19. Now, I mean, obviously, I only started with YouTubing pretty much halfway through the life cycle of Farming Simulator 17, and so I didn't sort of really get to. Well, I did get to. I played vanilla version of it when I first started with it because I didn't know how the mods and all that worked. But certainly we're all of us that are YouTubing going to be farming on Farming Simulator 19 with no real mods, just the vanilla stuff. So there'll be the 3 maps, which again Virtual Farmer informed us. There's a European map, there's Estacio Lapaccio, the map that came out with the DLC, the Spanish map or whatever the hell it is, the map that none of us really liked. And there's an American map. I think that was called Ravenport. So yeah, that'll be the maps we start with. So we start with 3 maps. I can pretty much vouch for the fact that the start show will be something I probably won't even look at touching, because I just unless the map is significantly different to the current and much improved. I did not like that map at all. And thought it was rubbish, basically, myself. But hey, that's just me. Colorization, all that sort of stuff, it just did nothing for me. So I think I spent about the whole of an hour on it, and that was it. And all that was basically to harvest that first field that had the sugar cane in it, just to do that, and that was it. Never did I return. Yeah, Jacer, farming with no GPS. That'll be very interesting, won't it? For many of us. So yeah, very, very interesting. But I'm actually looking forward to it. I mean, like I said, all things aside, there's many aspects of it that I'm really looking forward to. The dynamic sky, that should be fantastic. Yeah, I mean, there's many things, and again, I'm really going to go through, and I've got to watch Virtual Farmer's video again. I'm going to dissect everything that's sort of come from that, also from the dev blogs, which is quite interesting. But yeah, it looks as though it's going to be very good. I think multiplayer is probably what's getting probably the biggest boost from what I can discover. I don't think single player gameplay is really getting that much of a revamp. I mean, there is the new engine and all that sort of stuff, but I don't feel from the look of it, apart from the farming, the customization of the farm, I don't feel as though there's any huge enhancements to single player gameplay as yet. But definitely the multiplayer is a step in the right direction. But time will tell. I mean, we just need to get more details. We need to see some in-game footage. I mean, Virtual Farmer did indeed see in-game footage at FarmCon, and he said it is great. So I have no reason to doubt him at all. So that sort of fills me with a bit more confidence of what we're going to see and expect out of it. So yeah, I think it should be very good. Now, I did allude to it before, and I've decided that I will be giving away 2 copies of Farming Simulator 19 on its day of release. I have not decided as yet as to how I'm going to do that, whether I'm going to have a competition or whatever else. It most likely won't be subs based, although what I may end up doing as well as a consideration is I've thought, well, I might just have a random giveaway to one of my subscribers, and that'll be done with no notice as to when it's done. I mean, for all you know, I may have already done it and selected someone, because I mean, you can. And I mean, I know I did this I think it was for my 100 subs. It was for 100 subs, and AJ Evans was the winner, actually, if I remember correctly. And the thing with doing that is you end up getting a false economy too of subs. So I mean, some will come in and they'll sub just to try and get a copy of the game and all that sort of stuff. And I won't necessarily want that. I would like to reward my my loyal subscribers that are here for watching the content that we put out, or at least, if not necessarily watching the content that we put out, just putting up with me. But yeah, I think that's probably a more, not so much even fair or beneficial way. I think it's just a better way of doing it. And if I don't announce as to when I've selected it, but I'll just select someone at random, I think that's a far better way of doing it. So yeah. But rest assured, there will be certain subscribers that won't be getting it. So for instance, unfortunately, I won't be giving it to like Eustace or Grizzly Bear Sims, who are co-founders of Simulation Gaming Society and all that sort of stuff. And probably not to any other successful YouTubers and all that are part of the channel. It'll just be to like general users or general subscribers, that sort of stuff. But those that are sort of like the unknowns, or it could be those that are in the channel all the time talking with us, all that sort of stuff. So we'll just have to wait and see. Haven't decided 100% how we're going to do it, but we'll definitely be giving away, like I said, 2 copies of Farming Simulator 19. And that is basically all from the donations and the Patreon supporters that we've had at the channel. So as I've said, 90% of any donations or patrons we get to this channel go back into the channel. So yeah, that's the plan at this stage. Unpicked Useless because he is useless. Nah, look, Useless isn't useless. Poor old Eustace. He's a good egg. He's a bit busy at the moment, and yeah, but Eustace is a great egg. He really is. And I mean, look, unfortunately, as I've said before, whether it be for good or bad, he's the reason why I'm in Farming Simulator 17. He's also the reason why I'm doing YouTube. Well, you can either thank him or hate him for it, basically. Yeah, his name does lend to being abused quite readily, that's for sure. All right, so there we go. We've finished those 2 fields now. So they're now seeded with grass. So let's just double check to make sure we haven't stuffed anything up there. So grass, and there we go. So they're seeded with grass, ready to go. So won't be too long, and we'll be able to get rid of that grass and harvest that all up. All right, g'day mate. Welcome to the stream. As I get a bit nasally there, I might be coming out with a bit of head cold. Yeah, look, honestly, I mean, you couldn't ask to meet a nicer guy than Eustace Pharmer. He's a great friend, and I can quite confidently say that he is a great friend. He will do anything for you, and certainly I would do anything for him. He's a good egg, as you say. How are we? Yeah, we're good, thanks, mate. We're really good. I hope you're doing just as well. We've just finished seeding our 2 new fields here with grass. That's going to be part of our sheep area, where all the sheep are going to reside. So we've got fields there to produce enough grass to at least the initial lot of sheep we'll end up having will be able to be supported. So yeah, we're doing well there. And now we're at a standstill, I guess, where we may well have to just start looking at harvesting that grass on the 2 fields next to the farm. That might be the next job to do. All right. All right, we're going to go down this way. We're going to go past the shop, which is just down here on our left-hand side, and we're going to go up through the main road back into the farm. As my dog is just trying to annoy the living bejesus out of me by playing with his toy. Farmer Klein, g'day, my friend. Welcome to the stream. Well, I think Sarah's going to get caught up with that car. Well, we haven't got caught up. Let's see. Oh no, Sarah got round all right. All right. Yeah, welcome, Farmer Klein. We were just talking about you a little bit ago. Anyway, nothing nasty. All right. So we're going to take the big bud and the JD with cedar back to the farm, and then basically we're going to be looking at what we're going to be doing next. And like I said, I think we're going to be a little bit limited with what we've got next to do, and I think that's going to be starting to harvest our grass, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, that's always a good thing on this channel. DoughBoy says, how's the weather down under? Our heat wave has returned for one last spell before the bad weather returns. The weather down here is okay. It's cool. I mean, obviously we're in the middle of winter. I was out at a function last night, and it was very cold outside, but I mean, it's fine. We haven't got any rain or anything, but yeah, just a little bit on the cool side. But other than that, it's fine. So can't complain too much. Certainly not the same as what the weather was in Mexico, though, mind you. But yeah, no, it's certainly nice. Well, you might forget it's winter for us, but I certainly don't. That was a wonderful thing. We went from our quite cold winter to 2 weeks in Mexico and a couple of days in LA, and the weather was 38, 39 degrees, so what's that, close to 100 degrees Fahrenheit for most of our stay away. And then we returned, and we were back to 0 degrees overnight and 15, 16 degrees during the day. So we escaped the cold, and then we're complaining about it being too hot, and then we come back home and complain that it was too cold again, and we should have been back in Mexico and LA. But yeah, you get that. All right. So this is all part of the area we'll be expanding as well. We want to, basically the plan is for our fields, the first thing we're going to do is obviously we expand ourselves to having 4 fields around the main farm, which we've now got 4 or 5 fields. we've now just bought those 2 fields over at the sheep farm, and the priority there was to get those up and running so as we can get the sheep running out of that and basically have some grass fields co-located with the sheep, so we don't have to worry about transporting bales all the way over from one side of the map to the other. And the next plan obviously is to get a few of these fields around the farm. We'll buy the fields more centrally located around the main farm and then move our way out. We're not going to buy fields that are over the far side of the map and have to travel and waste fuel by travelling all the way over there. We do things a little bit logically, and there's a couple of smaller fields here that are adjacent to 34. Just over here on the right hand side, over the other side, there's a couple of small fields. Actually, no, it's just over here, 33. I think it is. They'll be the first couple of fields we look like getting as our next sort of purchase. So yeah. Alright, so I've got Sarah's behind me with the JD, so we successfully have brought the equipment back to the main farm, and now it'll be a matter of, like I said, working out what we're going to do next, which will most likely just be the harvesting of the grass on 35 and 44. Yeah. Tell Sarah to just stay behind, she can park the tractor there where it is. We'll put the seeder away. Because that was a waste of a trip with this thing. So if you weren't here, we took the big seeder over because we had a little seeder that was a waste of time for various reasons, which I'm going to sell actually right now. I was trying to miss the pole, I've just hit it square on. Yeah, so we bought a seeder to go over and seed them, just a small seeder, and unfortunately it didn't cover all the land quite well enough. So we then took this thing over, and we didn't actually check beforehand to make sure it actually could sow grass, and of course it couldn't. So we then had to go and find another seeder and deal with that. So in fact, what we'll do before we think of anything else, we'll just quickly sell the other one, get rid of that. Where is it? That one. Get rid of him. He's gone. Alright. So I'll put the big bud back in the shed. We're not going to need him now for a little bit. I think it might be time to look at dusting the dust off the Big M. Okay. Alright. Needs a bit of a wash, but I think that'll be okay. Okay. How is your map project? What map project? I'm not doing any map. Glengo says, need to get back into Lone Oak. Been distracted by a couple of maps released on FSUK lately. Yeah, there's been a couple of maps come out, as sort of Farmer Klein was sort of alluding to. There's been a fair few maps coming out. I'm enjoying the Welsh map as well. The Gwendar one, or Gwenadar. I actually like that map. And I'm actually thinking that might actually end up being the Patreon map at this point in time, because I'm not sure when Shamrock Valley is coming out. And Shamrock Valley, I think, will be one that everyone will want to see. So I'll be doing that as a general channel one, not a more private one. But yeah, that's interesting. And that Polish one actually wasn't too bad either. But it's sort of not to my liking. But the map itself is pretty good. But no, I do like the Welsh one. That's very nice. I do enjoy that one. All right, so I think, yeah, we're at the point where the only thing we can do at the moment is some grass work. So let's have a look and see what we're at. So our field 28, let's have a look and see what we've got growing in there. So field 28, we've got some barley growing in there. Fields 45 and 49, we've got wheat growing. Field 23 and 22, we've just sown with some grass. And 35 and 44 is our grass fields that are ready to basically field. Shamrock Valley, yeah, no, it's not very far away at all. Like I said earlier that Landy Kid and Rainbow Dave have done some previews of the map, and yeah, it's not very far away at all. So in fact, I haven't been into the Frontier, the Discord or Slack today, so I haven't seen any more news. But yeah, it certainly won't be very far away at all. Okay, so I think really the only thing left to us, because we haven't got any forestry equipment, so there's no point in us doing any forestry. The only thing left to do is to look at possibly doing some of that grass. All right, let's put this away though first, actually. Turn off the GPS. Doesn't need GPS on now. Now I'll put the seeders together, I think. Yeah, it will be. It will be. I mean, look, it'd be nice to have maps from all the different regions. I mean, ultimately, I suppose, but yeah, it should be good. I'm actually looking forward to. There's a map going to be coming out soon from CWJ. It's another Aussie map, and that does look quite good. So I'm personally looking forward to that. I think that'll be a fantastic addition as well. So. As soon as that one's available, we'll be jumping on that one as well, I can assure you, to have a bit of a look. Alright. So I think we might set this guy up ready to do some mowing. I'm not sure whether we're going to use this or whether we'll use the Big M. But again, this sort of comes back to the colorization thing I was talking about. I mean, like the colors again here are different again, and that's the part that sort of makes it a little bit not so much. Yeah, it's sort of like not quite so favourable, because I mean, John Deere would certainly make sure that all their gear was the exact same colorization scheme, but unfortunately. Because of modders doing it, they're not necessarily getting the correct. Well, they may not have access to the perfect RGB or CMYK codes for the paint color of a John Deere. But with Farming Simulator 19, there'll be no excuse anymore, because they'll have the exact colorization scheme in the code of the game. So yeah, there'll be no excuse there whatsoever. Alright, now we have no rain on the horizon, so I'm quite safe to mow this, but I don't think I'm going to be able to mow it and collect it, unless I do follow me, in one day. So let me just have a look. I have got the baler. The JD baler is there. I'm just worried there's now 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not going to have enough time to do that, and I may end up losing some grass because we can't do any field work at night. So what we might have to do is basically skip forward a bit to the next day. I think that might be our only choice. So have a look at the time. We've been going for an hour and 37 minutes. I think we can probably do that. So we'll just fast forward a little bit, and then we'll skip the night. And then we'll get in and we'll do at least one of these grass fields and progress through that. Okay. So go through to dawn. What we will do is we'll actually have, we'll get one of our helpers to follow behind in the other JD with the baler, and we'll just bale all this grass up for this first run. Right. Well, need to go forward, not reverse. Okay. Actually, that's not going to be any good because this guy's not going to... Right, we're going to use the big M. There we go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to use the big M. So we'll put this guy away. We're just out of the way at least. Alright, let's go get the lordship. Alright, here he goes. The big M's going to hit the grass. This is the other thing I'm going to be interested in to see whether Giants have a John Deere. Giants have a John Deere. If Giants have a big M in the release of Farming Simulator 19 as part of the starting equipment, or whether we have to wait for some of our modders to bring out a nice big M. But that will be an interesting part. But again, I don't know how I'm gonna manage playing Farming Simulator 19 to start with if it's not a vanilla piece of kit. I'm going to really struggle with that. I mean, everyone else is going to struggle without GPS or course play. I mean, I don't think I can play it until we get a big M. So yeah, I have to wait and see. Alright, covers are closed, so that's okay. Alright, let's go over and grab this. Get him set up behind. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard a couple of rumours that it may well be in the base game for 19. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Ultimately, hopefully, we'll find out with some more information as it comes to hand from Giants. But we'll find out soon enough. But yeah. Okay, so he's all ready to go. So then all we're going to have to do is just collect the bales and then put them under cover, and we'll be right. So and that's the collection of the bales will probably happen off camera after this stream. All right. I do love this bit of kit. I mean, I think everyone knows that by now. Now this is also early Adam. Thank you for subscribing, mate. Welcome to the DoughBoy Gaming channel. We appreciate your sub and appreciate you joining us. Now this is a customised version of the Big M as well. This version, this is the late 2017 edition. Didn't come with the steering, the modifying steering. So basically, the base model just has the all-wheel steering. This one has been modded to give me just the front-wheel steering as well. So yeah, it's a person. Not only has it got all my sign writing all over it, it's got the steering option available to it as well, which was coded in. So the all-wheel steering is generally, as you can see now, we're only doing front-wheel steering. The all-wheel steering is good at times, but other times I'd certainly like to have the ability to switch to just the front-wheel steering, similar to what I do with the Xerion, the 5000. So we made the change to this to give us that, and of course that help was done by our wonderful, great friend who we haven't seen in quite some time, GTX Andy, member of the LS Mod Company, the prodigious and awesome scripter and releaser of some awesome mods, including the bale storage mods, the new sapling plant mod, whole pile of other stuff. I mean, he's a fantastic scripter and modder in his own right. He did a lot of work on our good friend Johnny V, Sosnovka Not Extreme map. Very, very talented scripter. And I'm led to believe he will be making the horse factory for Farming Simulator 19, the glue factory. So looking forward to that, aren't we, Andy? Anyway, for those of you who are aware, it's a bit of an in-joke, but anyway, we need to have it, but we won't continue on that too much. Yeah, I certainly hope so. Hope not, Bryce. I'm hopeful that Giants might put one in the game again, but we'll have to wait and see. Right, speed up a bit. Just don't want to leave him too far behind us. Is it he or she? Who have we got? No, we got Flo. Flo is driving the tractor for us. So for those of you also aren't aware, I'm using the Helper add-on. I can't remember what the full name of it is. But basically you can assign the actual names to the AI workers and all that sort of stuff that you use. Like for instance with you can follow me. Flo is one of our designated female staff members, and she's the one that's actually driving the JD behind us and doing the baling. So we did some names that were typically a generic Aussie sort of name. So Flo and Matilda, Jack. So you'll see those sort of pop up in my series now every now and again. We'll do a bit of work. So yeah, not getting to the point quite so much of actually doing full-on role play and all that sort of stuff. I still can't bring myself to do that. I don't think I do a good enough job of it. I certainly can't compare myself to the likes of Eustace and Jerry, Grizzly Bear Sims, or VF, or Simulation for the Nation. So I certainly don't bother. Alright, so it's quite a big field here really. We'll get a fair bit of bales off on this, and we probably won't have to worry about doing too much in the way of baling and grass work until we do get some sheep. So I mean, one of the priorities is obviously going to be in getting enough money so we can buy some sheep, and then that'll number one provide us a need to have grass and hay and basically grass fields. But at the moment we haven't really got enough money to spend too much on sheep, so we're going to have to pretty much wait to the first harvest. The first harvest of wheat, for instance, will be, and the barley field will be purely just sold outright. So that'll purely just be a money-making venture, and that money will be put directly back into buying some sheep. That'll be the first thing we do, because as we know, wool is probably one of the most, if not the most profitable arm of the game at the moment. And so we need to get some of them up and running. So that's what we'll use the money for. Flow's falling a bit behind, not quite as fast as the old Big M. So we'll just sort of slow up a bit because we don't want to have them lose track of where we are. In reality, we don't want Follow Me to drop them off. So, a matter of interest for those of you that are on the channel, how many of you actually use the Big M or a variant of it? I mean, I can't be the only person that loves using it. It'd just be interesting to see how many more of you actually do use it and which version you use. And I've actually got, 4 different versions of it. I also then also have the class, I keep getting the one, Cougar? Jaguar, can't remember. Basically the five header mower, which again was fixed. The original version of that mod was, shall we say, undesirable, and again our good friend Andy
He basically fixed that up for Johnny V, in fact, and then I found out about it and I got a copy of it myself from Andy. So yeah, that's a much better version once the coding and all that had been fixed. So yeah, that's what I use. But yeah, if any of you actually use the Big M, let me know. This version's the one that actually has the swath enabled, so you can actually do the wide covering the lawn instead of actually just doing the tethering of it, which is what we're currently doing now. We mow and then tether it effectively. It's inbuilt. Oh, sorry, windrowing, not tethering. You can actually just do the wide swath, so then you have to come through and either tether or windrow it entirely. Yeah, you use the one that's got the extendable mower heads, Jaso. Is that the one you're talking about? I assume that's what you're talking about, the coloured ones. Yeah, I have client. I have that mod review. I think is scheduled for Wednesday this week. I think I'll have to have a look. But I've certainly done it, but I haven't done it on this map. So I haven't done that. There's probably no reason why I couldn't do that actually on this map. But yeah, I've definitely done it, but not on this map or in this series. So yeah, and I thought so, Jason. Look, I've used those as myself. In my first series that I was starting on Broad Acres, I was using those. I had 5 of those. I'd actually planted one of the biggest fields, the 700 hectare field, in grass, just for something to do, because that's what Lord of the Grass does. And I had 5 of them on a course plate course mowing that field. So that was quite funny. But that was in the series that we never ended up sort of continuing on because of the fact that it was so long and laborious to do that on YouTube. I just didn't think it was going to have the appeal, so we didn't continue that, unfortunately. But I do still play that map, and I think currently I'm in about my 4th year on Broad Acres version 2, and it is good fun. Very, very much course play and AI centric. It's not all multiplayer. Alright, so we'll now turn back the all-wheel steering on, because we want to do the tighter turn here now. We're just going to do the great demand for sugar beet. Well, we don't want any sugar beet, so not going to happen. Just going to do the up and downs now. We'll finalise this, and then, like I said, that will probably be close to the end of the stream. Simulation for the Nation. I was just talking about you not so long ago. Hello, mate, and welcome. Welcome to the stream, guys. Simulation for the Nation is one of the guys I was talking about just a while ago in relation to very good in doing role play series that I'm not good at doing. So please don't forget to go check him out, and also obviously don't forget to go check out Farmer Client as well. He does some of the best map reviews. So go check his channel out as well. Both SFTN, as in Simulation for the Nation, and Farmer Client's channel links are down below in the comments. So do please go over and check them out, and sort of make sure you tell them that I sent you, and then they'll probably not want to talk to you ever again. No, I'm only joking. How are you, Sim? Long time no see. I'm just actually catching up with your videos actually, so, as I speak. I'm about 4 weeks behind in... yeah, well, that's exactly right, Jay. So I was just talking about Farmer Client, and then not long thereafter he rocks up, and then I was talking about Simulation for the Nation, mentioned him, and he rocks up. I mean, the next thing you know, you'll have Eustace Pharmer turning up, but anyway. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, your ears were burning. Yeah, I think Klein's were as well. That's okay. That's all good. I knew I was going to click that one. All right, so we're almost at the end of doing this one. I think for the next field, we're actually going to wait till it gets to 100% ready. There's no real rush to collect any more bales. I mean, really, we're only doing this now because it's there to be done, and we're just sort of waiting for our other crops to come in now. And hopefully they won't be too far away. We may well end up skipping a day or two, purely for the fact of making sure that when we do come back here on the next live stream for this map, that we actually have some work to do. The other option is we can always do some missions, some jobs for some of the other farmers, and that's also an option. But yeah, I went to do a mission earlier. I was just testing a couple of things and a couple of other mods, and I'd enabled a couple of smaller bits of equipment, and it got me to do one of the bigger fields with a 2-meter plough that I was just trying out, and it was going to take me 17 hours or something, I think it said. It wasn't on this map though. It was on a different map. But and I was like, I don't think I can sit there for 17 hours to plough this map with this silly little plough. So, but anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, we can certainly do some missions on some of the fields that have some missions, and that's something we can do to sort of cast the time away. But yeah, I think for now we've been at it for almost 2 hours now, or just shy of 2 hours, and I think that will probably be about sufficient for us. So yeah, we've got a fair bit done, even though we had a fair bit of delay initially with taking the wrong seeders over to the other fields. But hey, that's what happens. All right. So what we can do now is we'll just go and chuck the Big M away. This lovely piece of equipment that everyone should have on their farms. And I'm just saying that because I'm biased. I'll bring him in. It's pride and place. Nice secure location in the shed. Alright. We'll give him a wash too. We can't keep the Big M dirty. He has to be clean and spotless all the time. Then we'll come over here. We've sent Flo off. She's done a good job. She's got all this baled for us. And like I said, off camera we'll come through and we'll collect all the bales and we'll find somewhere to store them. We'll probably end up storing them in this equipment shed over here, purely for the fact that we've got no real other place for them to actually go. But that will be just as good as any other place for the moment, so we'll just put them in the back end where the mower was in that shed for now. So yeah, so that was, I missed that sub. Who was that? 18 Gears Gaming. Thank you for your subscription. It's greatly appreciated. Welcome to the channel. Hope you enjoy. Unfortunately, if you've just joined the stream, we're just coming to the end. Gwen Deer, wasn't it? Was that the one you were alluding to, Klein? The new Welsh map. It is a fantastic map. I'm really enjoying that map, and like I said, I'm going to have that as our Patreon map, I think, initially. But yeah, so all right. So there's our. I still can't bring myself to thinking about the fact we're using John Deere on this map. But anyway, that's all well and good. Where's Leighton based? Is that an actual UK based map? I haven't seen that one. I have to go out and have a look. It's not Big M territory. Is that like a challenge? Someone told me like Ballincraig wasn't a Big M map, but I used it. Well, that sounds like a challenge. I'll go over and have a look. I use Big M's and road trains on any map. Oh, we'll see. We'll see, Sim. I'll go and have a look. Challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. Anyway, thanks very much, guys, for watching.
it's been a blast as always. Really, really enjoyed this great map. And if you haven't already got Lone Oak Farm, I strongly urge you to go to Mod Hub and download it. When you download it, please also make sure you go back into the Mod Hub and give it a rating. Nothing short of 5 stars would suffice, but hey, it's a personal preference. But it is a great map. But you'll certainly enjoy the map. I mean, this map has some wonderful, great features that, and is leading the pack in relation to the quality and the stuff that's included in it. So again, thanks very much for joining us. Thanks to everyone that joined us in chat and was interacting with us. It's always a great pleasure. David, who's off now, delivering some much needed hay bales to some of the farmers that are struggling here in Australia, in New South Wales and Queensland. I hope you have a safe drive, mate, and I look forward to seeing the pics when you come back. To Farmer Klein, Simulation for the Nation. Bryce, who was in here earlier, I think he may still be here, may not. Jaser, thanks very much for coming and joining us. It's certainly great to have you here. Glenger Boy, it's been an absolute pleasure, and always enjoying the interaction with all you guys, and of course Sai, who rocked up as well. So thanks very much for joining us, and I ignored your pig comment. What pig comment? I didn't see a pig comment. I want to know why you're skipping out on pigs on the Go Big series. Because I don't do pigs. Why would I do pigs? You know what? Just because you said it, I might do pigs on the Go Big and Go Home series. But anyway, all right. All that aside, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, thanks very much. It's are you still lurking, Bryce? No worries. All right, guys. That's it for me. I shall see you again very, very soon. And no matter where you are in the world, whether it be morning, afternoon, evening, or night, Go Big with 150. I'm going to kill you, Klein. Look after yourselves and your loved ones. Take care, and we will see you again very, very soon back here at Duck Gaming. Take care. See you all later. Bye.